What can one man do to fight climate change? In the heart of Amuria District, a 67-year-old farmer is proving that one person can make a difference by planting thousands of trees and transforming dry land into a thriving forest.
I'm Francis Edison, born of this place, and this is a Barela sub-county, Katine Parish, Opadwe village in Amuria District, northeastern Uganda. I'm aged 67 years. This is a farm which is established in this village of Opadwe by me and my family. I was very much passionate about climate change. Some 10-20 years ago, I was reading books about climate change. I was relying on the president's messages. He was always advocating for protection of wetlands and encouraging communities to plant trees. In particular, he was interested in a tree called the shea butter tree, which produces one of the best oils in this sub-region, and it has economic attachment. So I got interested in planting trees. You can see these trees I've planted, they have large leaves. And trees with broader leaves are very good at mitigating climate change. And like the tree I've said, this shea butter tree, those researchers who have conducted thorough research on this tree have testified that it can actually clean air for a radius of 7 kilometers. It removes carbon dioxide from the space for a radius of 7 kilometers. And it also stores that carbon dioxide. It forms now carbon. And most of these trees, that's our objective. We have that long-term interest of timber, but because of climate change, we are looking at climate change other than timber production. And actually we would like to have any partners who could support the project so that we avoid removing these trees. Some teams visited us, and towards that goal, we can afford to ignore cutting these trees for the good of this country. You know, we are inspired by what the president preaches: patriotism, Pan-Africanism, democracy, and economic transformation. So we are driven by factors of resilience against this bad climate which is ahead of us. Like scientists predict, the year 2030 is going to be the hottest year after 100,000 years. No temperature is recorded that will be as hot as that one of 230, just a few years to reach, 4 years to go there, if nothing is done now. This forest has attracted a lot of partnership with the community. You can see I have the orchard, the oranges. They come and also pick for nutrition. But also, if there is excess timber, like I used to help for poles and what have you, they could come and help themselves with these poles. But because of the other idea, we have abandoned cutting these trees. We want to preserve this. We want to have this ecology, to have so many shrubs. You can see it's a mixed forest. It's not only one type. You get the indigenous trees, you get the exotic trees, because my own research tells me that these trees get nutrients from different layers of soil. So those ones that can go deeper will also get nutrients from a different level. So they can coexist. They can live together in harmony since they feed from different layers of the soil. And the other thing, this village, like you see, it is wet. Most of the time rain can bypass other villages, but most often we receive rain regularly. So the community are very happy, and also they are encouraged. The other thing, I'm selling the idea to the community for them also to preserve, especially the shea butter tree, the tamarinds, and the mangoes that are also good for food. So that if we have a belt with the trees, it is rest assured we shall have regular rains in this region. You can see Karamoja is just near, it's the next district to us. But because of the shea butter trees that we are preserving, that desert cannot move to Teso. As I told you earlier, that resilience, these trees can absorb carbon dioxide for a radius of 30 kilometers. And this is why His Excellency had directed that the shea butter tree must not be cut. And that's why you see that regularly our police officers most often try to intervene when there is a transportation of this charcoal, most especially from the shea butter trees. It actually, we have also had ordinances from the district, bylaws from the sub-county, trying to control the harvesting of shea butter tree. But because of poverty, people still burn this tree. It has one of the best charcoal. I think it's the best charcoal in this region that the shea butter tree gives. It's actually vulnerable. It is threatened now because of its durability. It has a lot of uses, and it has also a lot of properties that are good. It's also medicinal, and also you can eat it as a fruit. Then the wood, the firewood, women like it because it gives better charcoal, and it gives also better firewood locally, even if it's not translated into charcoal. This forest here has a lot of herbs, the undergrowth. Most of the communities, they come here to pick medicinal herbs because these trees here encourage these herbs to grow from here. And also, there are some animals that can now stay here, especially the squirrels that eat on the shea. We also try to protect that as a conservation. And then also there are unique grass. There is grass that we can rarely get elsewhere, but we can get them in this area here.
This elderly farmer has dedicated years of his life to planting and protecting trees. What was once bare land is now a green forest filled with different tree species that are improving the environment and supporting the local community. But the impact of this forest goes beyond climate change. Community members benefit from firewood, fruits, cleaner air, and a healthier environment. The forest is also helping restore degraded land in the area.
My name is Alago Brenda. I'm the neighbor here. Here is good. Here, this forest helps us to get firewood. Instead of me buying going outside, this forest helps us to get firewood.
Among the trees he values most are the shea nut trees, known for their environmental and economic importance in the region. According to the farmer, the shea nut trees help absorb carbon emissions, improve soil fertility, prevent land degradation, and support biodiversity. The trees also provide shade, traditional medicine, and income opportunities.
These trees, the shea butter, they are good. They are also friendly to some crops. Because this is a farm now of simsim. You can intercrop. You can see the simsim are also growing under them, and yet you can see they are just healthy. The environment is very beautiful environment, and yet you can also get simsim. But the best project here would be a apiary to keep bees. You can keep turkeys. You remove goats. You remove cows that are destructive to the environment. And that's why we are trying to look around if some serious partners can come on board to propel this project for the good of this community. Because with the apiary, we can have youth coming to work here. You can expand the project, and then the youth can come and earn money. And then also the bees, actually the honey itself is medicinal. Most of the people who have diabetes can use honey as opposed to sugar. Those are the benefits. Then also it has what we call propolis, which is also medicinal, that cures even some ulcers. It has got so many advantages if we had that project of apiary. I cannot start because I'm incapacitated. I don't have the capital to start it, and yet it's a viable project. So I am commenting that people write proposals, when they come on the ground, there is little that they do with the money they get. The shea butter seeds. For us, we get here local oil. We call it alino. Very good oil even for smearing the young people, the babies. Then the people use it as food. You can put here granules, mix granules, and you enjoy very, very delicious dish, this fruit here. Then they also make soap out of it. There are those who can make soap out of it. There are those who can make cosmetics out of this. Very expensive tree. These ones are not yet shelled. These are the ones they have shelled. These are now being dried, ready for frying. Except we use a rudimentary method. We don't have technology of processing this. So they just boil water after pounding with a mortar, the local mortar. Then they boil the water. They call it actually hot press. Then after boiling, then they decant the oil, just a local way.
His conservation efforts are facing a serious threat. Illegal tree cutters continue invading the forest and destroying trees. The farmer says the lack of proper fencing has made it difficult to fully protect the land. He is now calling upon leaders, organizations and well-wishers to support him with fencing materials and other assistance to preserve the forest for future generations.
But all projects have got challenges. The biggest challenge we have here is the scaring factor that fire can cross and destroy these trees. But from time we started, we have not realized that. But we are scared as we grow, because the trees are many. If by accident fire can come here, it will destroy these trees prematurely. The other challenge is intruders. People come here, they cut my poles without my consent. Since there is scarcity of poles and other forest products, they come and get these things without my permission. Even the herbs, they come and get without my permission. Even my oranges, they come and get without my permission. And that's why I wish I could get people who would partner with us. First of all, we would want to fence this place. Once we fence this place, we could have other projects. Like you see, this place is very cool. We could have apiary, beekeeping. And beekeeping is very friendly to agroforestry. Since the bees would provide the trees would provide nectar to the bees, and then the bees would carry out to pollination, cross-pollination, and would have optimum production from this farm. And also, the other challenge is the connectivity. People write proposals. For us older people, we don't know those things. They get money and they don't do what is desired of the money. They end up in workshops. We wish we could get those partners who could visit farmers like us to support us, because we are doing this single-handedly. And yet, the trees, as we know, those who know about carbon credit, people are getting money elsewhere for keeping the trees. But for us, we are limited. I cannot write a proposal. I'm an old man now at 67, and we don't travel. So those who can travel, those who can Google their things using digital technology, benefit. And yet if they are given money, little is done with the money. And yet for us we have those serious objectives of actually enhancing climate change by mitigating in so many interventions.
Teso, Uganda.
Improve the mangoes. Still the problem are these insects. We call them Congolese. I don't know what the other people call them. They are brown insects. They infect the mangoes, and actually they have occupied most of these mango trees because of the sweetness of the mangoes. And then same challenge, market. Market is far. Now people are just, after their garden work, they just come here, take the rural people. That's what I said before, that it's a way of supporting the community. And when they come, they also support me with some small labor, maybe weeding. That's what we have here. We have this. We also have the oranges. Under the NADS program, the sub-county gave me around 500 on the challenge you still have. They are infested with this animal. One of the challenges for tree growing is these termites. Termites can also invade the trees and reduce the population of trees if not well managed. And yet in the environment, we also need termites as part of the environment. The other challenge is the connectivity. People write proposals. For us old people, we don't know those things. They get money and they don't do what is desired of them, and they end up in workshops. We wish we could get those partners who could visit farmers like us to support us, because we are doing this single-handedly. And yet the trees, as we know, those who know about carbon credit, people are getting money elsewhere for keeping the trees. But for us, we are limited. I cannot write a proposal. I'm an old man now at 67, and we don't travel. So those who can travel, those who can Google their things using digital technology, benefit. And yet if they are given money, little is done with the money. And yet for us, we have those serious objectives of actually enhancing climate change by mitigating in so many interventions. We can also realize that this is a learning place. If we could conserve this place, we could attract people to come and learn from us. Then they can also translate into their own activities for what we are practicing here. We would also engage so many youth, since I also produce seedlings. Many times I've distributed seedlings to schools for free, like St. Paul SS Abarlela. I gave Abarlela Primary School, Machal Primary School, and many others. And sometimes I sell to those who can afford, like Amuria High School. They normally buy my seeds. And if we can roll the idea out, most of these institutions could plant trees. And once there is a good coverage of tree coverage, I think we shall mitigate climate change. Any partners who are potential, is my appeal, can support this project